I was actually anticipating this movie's release since I saw the first trailer. Something about it just looked really fun to me. But for some reason, I ended up not going to see it when it was released. But I finally watched it this weekend, and honestly, I'm conflicted. But before I get into it, I want to say a quick thank you to you. Yes, you. For clicking on this video and taking out the time to listen to me run my mouth. It really does mean the world to me. Oh my gosh. So, M3GAN is a sci fi horror film produced by horror masters James Wan and Jason Blum about an artificially intelligent doll who becomes self aware. The doll was made by a woman named Gemma, who is a roboticist at a toy company. Gemma makes the doll after gaining legal guardianship of her niece, after her niece's parents were killed in a tragic accident. The purpose of Gemma making M3GAN is so that M3GAN can aid her niece and kind of become a companion to her. But of course, things take a turn when M3GAN becomes hostile towards anyone who gets in her way of her now human companion. Now, right away, this movie plays with the marketing that is these AI dolls and how they're promoted and supposed to be viewed by society. It's something we see in our day to day, yet no one seems to question it. Yet this movie wastes zero time just showing us how absurd they can be. And I couldn't help but laugh because it's true. As time goes on and technology only advances, companies absolutely do find ways to make absurd products seem like something we would absolutely want and ultimately convince us it's something we need. They were promoting these dolls like it's something a kid would really want and like it's something that'll actually help them out. Ultimately, even probably convincing their parents that it's something that the kid could make good use of. Something I liked about this movie is that pretty early on, it's clear that the primary characters are in a tough place when you meet them. The main character, Gemma, is so used to her life and so dedicated to her work that when her niece is now in the picture, it's not exactly easy for her to just figure things out. And her niece don't just magically bond. They don't go on some life changing vacation together and just figure everything out over the course of a weekend. For a bit, Gemma's actually pretty desperate because she really just wants to help her niece out and is struggling but doing the best she can to figure that out, turning to what she knows best. So she turns her work and ultimately a deadline she has to meet into something that could help her in her personal life. I found that incredibly interesting, and the way the movie follows that was actually pretty well done. Now, M3GAN herself is clearly the star of the show. Like, the second she was completely put together and made, she never really comes across as threatening or menacing, but you're still on edge because there's still something so unsettling about this doll who is much stronger and smarter than anyone in the room. And if anything goes wrong, she could just snap in a split second. But you just have to trust the technology that she's made of to keep her from doing so. And it makes her pretty uncomfortable to be around because there's almost no room for trust when suspicions are constantly on your radar. And this whole movie follows a few specific tones. On one end, it's kind of a funny film in the sense that it's self aware of its comedy, yet it doesn't at all try to be a straight up comedy. On the other hand, it holds up its thriller element that, of course, leads to not holding back on its horror foundation. But what more can I say? This movie delivered plenty of what I hoped it would. A solid premise, entertaining on every end. M3GAN was a clear standout, and a horror character that I really hope to see more of in the future. Also, the final act stuck its landing very well. The entire movie's development was solid. The final act is always what I feel should be the strongest, or at least pay off. The final act in this movie did in fact pay off, and it doesn't feel like the whole movie was building up to nothing. So, better late than never, but I did finally watch M3GAN. And early on I said I was conflicted, but that's because I feel like I shouldn't have enjoyed this movie as much as I did. That being said, M3GAN gets an 8.5 out of 10. So how would you rank M3GAN? Let me know down below. If you found this review entertaining, please consider leaving a like. It really does make a difference. Subscribe for more. It'll mean the absolute world. And I'll catch you on the next one.